Okay, for this video I just prepared all the materials. In this case we're gonna use some jumpers. We need one male, which is this one, and we need 4 male-female. In this case we're gonna use the battery, and we need to use these 2 cables. As you can see, this is the way they come. One is for the battery directly, and the other one has this plug that goes directly to the Arduino. This structure is something I made. I need you to understand this. Is simply 2 motors attached in this place. As you can see here in the structure, we have a line. That line connects the axis of both motors. They have to be on the same axis or the car is not going to work. And in this part I'm gonna put the battery. Here I'm gonna use the battery. Here I have the module, the driver, and here I attach my Arduino. The way I attached this was using small cables. I made holes on this. Here I made some holes on this part, and then I used the cables to attach everything there. That's pretty much it. Now I'm going to show you the diagram, and I'm gonna follow it to show you how it has to look. Okay, as you can see, previously I just attached cables to my motors, and as you can see on the diagram, these 2 have to go with this motor, these 2 have to go with the motor. The way this works is using a screwdriver. You pull it up, then you take the wire, you plug it in, making sure that the metallic part is inside, and once it is inside, you just put it down. So I'm gonna do the same with the other 3. Okay, now that I did it, the way to make sure that this is inside is pulling it a little bit. If it doesn't go out, it's because it is okay. Remember, metallic part inside, and it has to be touching it. The way I plugged this was the 2 blues are here, and the 2 whites, let's say, are here and here. So these 2 go to the motors. Now we're gonna plug these 3. So in order, from left to right. This one is 5 volts, but it is going out. That means this will be giving the Arduino its energy. The one in the middle is GND, is electrons basically. That's why we have to use a battery. And this one is 9 volts, but it is in. So the battery goes into this and this. The other cable, which is this one, goes here and here. And then we have another GND that will be connecting this, the one in the middle, with the GND of the Arduino, any of them. So I'm gonna plug them and show you how it should be. Okay, following the diagram from left to right. On the left here, we have the red cable of this one, the one that will go plugged to the Arduino here. So in this case, we're gonna have this. All black cables are plugged here in the middle. What do I mean with all black cables? The black for this one, the black for this one, which is the battery, as you can see, and another black that is a jumper, is regularly a jumper that will be connected to GND. So I'm gonna start plugging from left to right. I already plugged these two to the Arduino. Then this jumper will go to a GND in the Arduino. It doesn't matter which one. So I'm gonna plug it here on the GND of the Arduino. And then finally I have this one, which is the one of the battery. I'm going to plug it here. And if you see that the Arduino and also the driver are going on, it's because everything is plugged correctly. Okay, I unplugged the battery because I don't want to discharge it. And now the last thing I'm missing is to connect these 4 that are right here. As you can see in the diagram, these 2 are to control this motor, and these 2 are to control this motor. We had to use 2 male-female jumpers, and they have to be connected to the pins of the Arduino that have this small line. If they are not connected to this, you cannot control the speed of the motor. So you can use 11, 10, 9, 6, 5, and 3. Those are the ones that you can use. For this one, I'm going to connect the left motor to 11 and 10, and the right motor, I'm going to plug 6 and 5. Okay, so as we saw in the circuit, as we saw the way we connected, we have only four connections. All the other connections are GND and voltage, which is red and black cables. So we only have these four. As you saw, we have connections on 11, 10, 5, and 6. And following the diagram, we have the motor of the left, both pins, one is going to 11 and the other one is going to 10. And with the right one, one connection is going to 5 and the other one is going to 6. The reason why this thing says constant is because we will never move those cables. They will never change. The left motor will be always connected to 11 and 10, and the right motor will be always connected to 5 and 6. Remember that you have to plug these motors to the ones that have like a line on the side, because with that line we can control the speed of the motor, which is something we need. Now that we declare everything that we're going to use, I'm going to declare here how to start everything. And it's basically everything it's an output. Why? Because the motors are actuators and we need to send signals to those actuators. So I declare for motor left 2, left 1, and right 2. All of them are outputs because they are actuators. Then on the void loop, I want to separate this. We need to use instructions of 4 lines. The first 2 lines will be about the left motor. So as you can see, left 2 and left 1. And how does this work? We're going to use analog right. The reason why it is analog is because we can change this number. It can go from 0 to 255. If we set 0, we're sending nothing. If we set 255, we're telling the Arduino that it has to send all the power. So how to control the speed? If you put 255, it's because it's all the power. But if you instead use something like 80, it will not have that much power. For this case, I'm going to use 100, so it doesn't have all the power. It will be less than half of the power because I am using the car on the table and I don't want it to drop. I don't want it to fall. So how does this work? We need to use instructions in couples. Motor left is controlled by 2 pins, left 2 and left 1. If I send something in left 2, for example, I am sending 100, on the other one, mandatory, it has to be 0. It's like sending positive and negative. Let's assume that this is positive, so it has a number, but negative will be always 0. But these 2 instructions are only controlling the motor of the left. Now I have to control the motor on the right, which are these other 2 instructions. So as you can see, what I'm doing is that on the number 2, I'm sending signals, 100 and 100. And the ones that says motor 1, I am sending 0 and 0. So this is the way we use this. Remember, the name of this variable is the same here and is the same here. And then I'm going to say that it has to wait for a second. So what am I doing? Controlling the motor of the left, at the same time controlling the motor of the right, and these actions, these 4 actions, will be happening for 1 second. Then, because this is a test, I'm going to check where is it going to move. I'm going to use this. I'm going to do the same but backwards. So I'm saying left 1 100 and right 1 100. It is exactly the same but backwards. So we have to check how the motors are going to work. Depending on the way we plug everything, they can move forward or backward. But that's the reason why we have to make a test. If they don't work as we want, for example, if I want this to be moved forward and I want this to move backwards, and that doesn't happen in real life, the only thing I have to do is change these variables, to change the 0 for 100 and the 100 for 0, and that way we can identify how they move. Okay, I just uploaded the program to the Arduino. Now, as you can see, the Arduino is off and the driver is also off. So the only thing I need to do is to connect the battery. And once I connect the battery, as you see, the wheels start moving. How do I know which one was the first and what was the second instruction? As you see, this is moving forward now and backward now. So when I press the button of the Arduino to restart the program, the first instruction says that it moves forward. The left motor is moving forward. So the 4 instructions that we wrote is for this to move forward. And now let's check the right motor. I'm going to restart the program. The first 2 instructions of the right motor is for the motor to move backward. In this case, if I put this on the table, the robot will start rotating because, as you see, both wheels are moving in opposite directions. The idea is that you have to change the code to play with the motors so you can identify what code will make the robot move forward and what code will make the robot move backwards. But everything is controlled here on the driver. So the only thing you do is to modify the program in Arduino to make it work however you want.